cauliflower, cauliflower cheese, cauliflower cheese cake. I mean, the name alone is all the license I need to give this a go. So, a cheesecake flavoured with cauliflower cheese. We should start with the cauliflower cheese puree. Get rid of the green crap first. There is a use for this stuff, but this isn't it. Have it. Get off. Roughly chop 1/2 into cubes and into a pan with just enough boiling water to cover it. Some salt and boil this down until it's tender. There you go. You're not looking for al dente or even pretty. You want dry mush, which I'm going to turn into wet mush with a splash of whole milk. Mix them together and let that milk warm. In with an immersion blender, then puree. There you go. Let's get a closer look. Yeah, I like that. It doesn't matter too much if it's not the smoothest puree in the world. If anything, it's going to help get a little bit of texture into the cake. If you want to press it through a fine mesh sieve, you feel free, but I'm not going to bother. Yeah, anyway, onto the cheese. Strong cheddar, finely grated, about 100 grams of that. Lovely. Grating a nutmeg. There we go. I like the way that this has turned out. Let it cool and stick it somewhere until we need it. Right, I'm going to use these little ring molds to make this cake in individual portions rather than repeating the mistakes of the chili con cheesecake. Well, one of them at least. Lube up my ring with some vegetable oil. Baking paper. Now, arts and crafts time. You might have noticed there's no base to these molds, so I'm just going to improvise one with a bit of kitchen foil. Just fold it in half a few times. Ring mold on, then start crimping this around the outside. Just make sure it's watertight, you'll see why in a minute. There you go. I've gone around the outside of this with another ring as well, just to make sure nothing else can seep into this. I'm happy with that. Let's start filling it up. So for the base, I'm going pretty standard. That's 200 grams of digestive biscuits. I'm using plain chocolate ones. The chocolate should go quite well with the cauliflower, believe it or not. Just trust me. They will. Blitz these into a crumb. About 100 grams of unsalted butter, melted quickly in a microwave. There you go, 1/10 of a second. That took me. Done. Pour this into the biscuity bits. Lovely. Right, now once we've got that wet sandy texture, stick a few tablespoons of these into the tins. Pack it down fairly tightly. There you go. That's what we want. Firm, flat and tightly packed. On to the creamy bit. 500 grams of cream cheese. 200 grams of sour cream. This would normally be mascarpone, but I like the little bit of sourness that the sour cream brings in. Especially since I'm not going to be adding any lemon juice or citrus to the mix. It's going to help freshen it up a little bit. Still think it qualifies as a cheesecake though, since we've got the cream cheese and the cheddar. And with about half of that cauliflower mixture and mix. Now white pepper. Could use black if you want, but I think it looks a little bit better with this. Salt, obviously, and stir. This mix should make about 6 of these little cakes. There we go, now in with 3 eggs. Break the yolks. Yeah. Stir. Once that's combined, bring the ring molds back in and a few ladlefuls of this mixture atop the base. Careful not to spill it. Right to the brim, there you go. Now, very carefully, these go into a bain-marie. So, roasting tin, boiling water, and in with the cheesecakes. Top this up, come as close to the top of the cake rings as you dare. Just be careful not to get any water into the mix. Obviously, this is why you wanted the foil to be watertight. Another benefit to doing these individually is that it makes it much easier to cook them this way. So anyway, these go carefully into a 180 oven for about 20 minutes, after which point they'll look a bit more like this. Nicely set. Now while this cools, let's see if we can present this in such a way that really drives home the fact that this is in fact a cauliflower cheesecake. Pan of salted boiling water, handful of cauli cut into fairly small florets, and let them cook for about 5 minutes until they're al dente. Drop them into a bowl of cold water to stop the cooking process. If you can get a few ice cubes into this, so much the better, but don't stress too much over it. Just make sure the water stays cold. Now I want something to pour over this. Now I know cheese sauce would be the obvious choice, but I want to take the opportunity to bring something else to the plate. So I'm going to go with a mustard sauce instead, or a 3 mustard sauce. So 150 ml of double cream into a pan. Warm this through on a low heat, then get our 3 mustards. Teaspoon of Dijon. Stir that in. Teaspoon of whole grain and a teaspoon of English. Salt. No need for pepper in this, obviously. Just let the mustard do its job. And off the heat. Last cauliflower element to this dish is going to be some very thin slices of cauliflower, raw, just to top the cheesecake with. So, cauliflower is quartered and sliced through this with a mandolin. Just because we want it as thinly as we can manage. There we go, that's nice. Just give this in a bowl of cold water until we're ready to plate up. Right, so we got rich and creamy cheesecake, we got rich and creamy sauce, a few bits of cauliflower. We just need something a bit sour to balance this plate. So zest of a lime, I know you know, but make sure you only use the fragrant green part of the zest, not the bitter white pith. Juice, and warm it just enough to dissolve a heaped tablespoon of caster sugar. Oh yeah, add the zest as well. There we go, that's what we're after. Lime syrup, fresh mint, indulge your OCD, and roll the whole thing up into a tight little bundle. 2 cuts down the center and slice this thing as finely as you can manage. A little bit more, there we go. And this goes into the lime syrup. Little mix and apple peel, core and dice. And once that's done, into the minty lime. You want to do this as soon as you've diced it, really, just to stop it oxidizing and going brown. And now on to plating. Cheesecakes are cooled, we got no cracks, we got no sinking, wonderful. Let's get this foil off. Carefully, remember the base isn't supported in there. Ooh, that looks alright. Carefully push this up through the mold and get rid of that paper. There you go, look at that. That's running rings all around the chili cheesecake. Right, I did 2 of these just in case the foil leaked, so I wouldn't have to go through all that process all over again. But since that didn't happen and now I've got a spare, I'm wondering, can you gratinate a cheesecake? I kinda doubt it, since there's quite a lot of melty fats in this, but you know, someone's got to ask these questions. So, small handful of grated cheddar, grated nutmeg, twist of black pepper, under a grill. Okay, that's not worked, is it? You can see where the butter and the biscuit base is melting out. Maybe it'd work well with a Basque cheesecake. Ah well, we learned a thing. To the plate. Surviving cheesecake onto the plate. Dollop of mustard sauce. Pretentious smear. Few pieces of cauliflower. Same again on the other side, and a few little pieces of that apple. I'm going to be relatively generous with this, I think. I'm not repeating the mistakes of the risotto. Stab 3 small holes into the top of this to make it a bit easier to get them cauliflower slices into. And there you go, cauliflower cheesecake. Let's try a bit of this. That is delicious. The cauliflower, the cheddar, both of them coming through. Chocolate biscuit base clashes a little bit with the cheddar, not with the cauliflower though, I stand by that, that worked. But by and large, it works well here. I like the extra little bit of dark colour it brings to the plate as well. Good crunch from that raw cauliflower, obviously it goes well with everything else. Fantastic peppery kick from the mustard sauce that just wakes everything else up. Works well with the cauliflower, works well with the cheddar, works well with the chocolate, works well with the apple. Alright, what about these? Yep, those things are essential. They're nice and fresh and sour. It gives a great contrast to everything else. All in all, this works as a pretty balanced plate of food. So yeah, cauliflower cheesecake works fantastically. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. That's pretty much all I got to say on this one. It's fantastic. You should give this a go. I mean, yeah, what more do you want to know? It's worked fantastically. I mean, yeah, it's a good cheesecake. I'm not sure it's going to take the same comfort feeding notes as a regular cauliflower cheese would, but you're not expecting it to if it's in this form of you. If you want to see what other crap I can knock up, click any of the links on the side. Thanks for watching the video. Like and comment and subscribe to the channel, it does help us out. Thank you very much for watching. Social links in the description, and until next time, get forked.